Hello there, Atheist Junior here, your friend and humble narrator. And over the weekend, Labor Day weekend, I visited the Georgia Aquarium, and I just put together the clips of the footage that I took, and I brought my friend Jackson Weed on, who works at the Shreveport Aquarium, because um, he is much more knowledgeable than I am. So yeah, we're just gonna look at some of this footage, and I, he's gonna add his commentary. So Jackson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Alrighty, well, let's get started.
It's a fish.
Yeah. So I think these are the tiger sharks. I believe
Mm,
so.
okay.
And this was the first. See, yeah, this is a school of fish. I have no idea. Like, and then uh, there's hammerhead sharks in this tank too. I have no idea what kind of fish these are.
I can't see from.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful hammerhead shark.
yeah. What were you telling me about the hammerheads a second ago?
Oh, okay. So the hammerhead shark, their head. The theory is for why they have this long flattened head, what's called a cephalofoil, is that all cartilaginous fish, so sharks, skates, stingrays, skates are a type of stingray, but whatever. Chimeras are ratfish, as well as uh, other types of fish. It's like paddlefish. Um, they have these little pits, these little pores all over their face and nose that are called ampullae of Lorenzini. And what these are it's basically when there is electricity in the water. So whenever you move, you have an electrochemical signal that is propagated along your nerves, that's passed to your muscles, which causes you to move. And so when that happens, you release very tiny quantities of electricity into the surrounding water. Now, what they can do with those pores is they have nerves that are very, very close to the tissue. And so when that electricity propagates into those ampullae, they can detect it. So that's how they can basically hover over the seafloor. Um, you've probably seen stingrays do this. They'll go over the seafloor, then they'll kind of stop, and then they'll like pounce on whatever's in the sand. Usually it's like a crab or a shrimp or whatever, because they're detecting, oh, hey, something's moving right below me. Let me get at that. And so by having this long flattened head, you have increased the surface area for those pits, which allows you to do better detection. You have a greater chance of detecting something in the water around you. Um, and yeah, like paddlefish have also increased the surface area on their essentially their forehead. They have like a really long forehead structure. That's the paddle. Um,
Hmm.
Interestingly, they only use that. They really only use that paddle when they're juveniles. So paddlefish, baby paddlefish, and the platypus, which has independently developed electroreceptors through a completely different means because they're mammals. They use these pores for grabbing individual invertebrates, whether it's like shrimp swimming in the water column or worms or what have you. And so paddlefish babies use these, but then when they become adults, they switch from um, feeding where they grab one little invertebrate to what's called ram feeding. So they open their mouth really wide like a baleen whale. They just swim along and they filter, whatever they can out of the water. So
Wow,
which is why adult paddlefish may lose their paddles, but if that happens to a juvenile, well, just it's over.
that's fascinating.
Yeah, I did a whole video on that. That's the platypus's tail, or sorry, the duckbill's tail.
Yeah, you did that whole series, uh, like the
Yeah,
different
we're
tail.
still going. It's
Yeah, they're so
a very long
graceful.
series.
It's crazy how graceful they are in the water. I took a couple slow motion videos, just like, um, and in a second, it's gonna show my favorite part, which is the moray eels. Uh,
So, do you know why fish school?
why is that?
Well, there are several potential reasons as to why fish school. One of them is that you make yourself look kind of larger as a group, and it's difficult for predators to figure out where exactly one individual is, which can deter them from attacking. So that's one idea. Another is fish have a different type of receptor along their bodies which are called mechanoreceptors. So they respond to mechanical forces like waves hitting against them. And in what's called the lateral line system, so it's like pores that run along their gills, and it leads to a little like tube essentially. And so water infills that tube, and there are these little cells called mast cells, which look kind of like the masts of a ship, and they move. So the water current moves against them. So if you have synchronized motion, all these fish moving together, or if you can synchronize your motion, you can basically decrease the like conflicting signals that you would get from the surrounding water, because all the waves are just going kind of in like one or a few directions instead of all these waves hitting you from a bunch of different directions, so that it can reduce signals, can deter predators. There's a few different reasons for that. So
Wow.
I thought you might find that interesting. I don't know.
This is such a beautiful like specimen. Like it's
It is.
just they're gorgeous. And they're so
Yeah, they're
graceful.
huge.
Yeah, that was a big one. Like I was lucky enough to have some really good shots here where they came real close to the glass.
Absolutely, yeah.
I could watch that all day. Like
Fish are mesmerizing, yeah, or water is mesmerizing. Water and fire, like just watching those all day.
so,
They,
do
I
you,
don't know,
do you
it's hard
can
to
you
tell.
tell what kind of fish those are?
Um, can you rewind it a little bit?
Yeah, I could probably Google it, but
They have
yeah.
that. They have a very long. No, get that right.
The name of the exhibit was Predators of the Deep. I don't know if these fish are predators, but I don't know. But I how many fish do you think are in this school? Like
Hundreds, hundreds of
okay,
individuals.
this was my
Oh, the green
favorite part.
morays.
So I wanted to ask you this. Why do they keep opening their mouths like that?
Oh, okay. Well, so what they are probably doing is what's called buccal pumping. So one of the this actually kind of ties back to sharks. So one of the there's so many different directions I could go with this. I'll just pick one. Um, there's a it's not a myth, it's a misunderstanding, I guess you might say, of sharks, that all sharks have to swim continuously to breathe.
Hmm.
And of course, the reason for that is when sharks swim, they do what's called ram ventilation. So the water goes through their mouth and then over their gills, because remember, gills are extensions of the esophagus, kind of out pocketings between the esophagus and the body wall. So the water goes in to the mouth, out through the esophagus, and that's what provides oxygen to the body. It is true that a lot of sharks do have to do that. A lot of sharks have to swim continuously to breathe, which gives some interesting, or causes some interesting adaptations for like how they sleep, for instance. They do this thing where they like turn off one half of their brain at a time. Other sharks do basically what he's doing right here, which is buccal pumping. So what he's doing is he's sucking in water. For some sharks, they move their jaw up and down, and that flushes the water over their gills. So basically, they're like gulping water. They're moving it over the gills, and so like uh, uh, um, zebra sharks will do that. White tip reef sharks do that. Horn sharks, swell sharks, epaulet sharks, bamboo sharks. They all do that, where they do that jaw movement, what you're seeing right now. So he's like sucking in water. Eels are also kind of neat because they're a bit lower down on in like the phylogeny of bony fish. So they're kind of near like the base of the bony fish. Um, they're in a group that's called the oh boy, having to Elopomorpha is their group. The fish that they're related to, like tarpon, 10-pounders, ladyfish, and eels, they all have these larvae that are like really tiny, and they look like clear, essentially, and that's called a leptocephalic larva. And so all the members of this one group, Elopomorpha, all have this exact same kind of larvae, of juvenile, which if they were created separately, it'd be super weird that they have the genetics.
Created, created,
Yeah, if they were created
designed.
separately, yeah, if they were designed that way, it'd be a little weird that I guess the designer thought, wouldn't it be cool if like eels and tarpon, which look completely different from each other, both had similar genetics and had went through like the same stages of life? Like, wouldn't that be just for funsies, like I guess, but it makes more sense on evolution. So
So these guys, I don't know if it's coming across in the video. They were huge. Like you
they're big.
said, you have some at your aquarium. Are they this big?
How big are those guys? Like 5 feet, 5, 6 feet?
Well, the thing is that you can see part of them, but like they go farther down to like
Mm-hmm.
they were huge, like
Mm-hmm.
uh probably like longer than 5 feet.
Yeah, yeah. Eels can. So that's Gymnothorax is the genus, which is also the genus that the giant moray and the tessellated moray are in, which are the two largest, if I remember correctly, the two largest species of morays, and they can get like 7, 8 feet long. So I wouldn't be surprised if green morays can get like 5 or 6 feet long or more. They can get pretty big, and then also thick. Like it's not
Yeah,
just length; they're also thick.
seriously, like they were beefy boys. All right, next up is the cuttlefish, which I think like these guys are my favorite, but the cuttlefish were really cool because I couldn't see them at first, but then when they came out, it seemed like they were changing color or like that they had some sort
Mm-hmm.
of iridescence, and they were beautiful. Like, um, it's gonna come up in a second, but yeah, my favorite was definitely the green morays. Like they were scary but also beautiful at the same time. Like definitely one of the coolest thing I saw there by far.
Absolutely, yeah. And I saw they were in. So there was a long spine porcupine fish, a doctor fish, and what looked like a parrotfish.
Like
I saw swimming kind of at the beginning.
he's so thick. Like
He is a thick
he's
boy.
like a giant tube.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least they're well fed, I guess.
They're from what I understand, I've talked with some people who dive with eels. They're a bit more bitey than like giant morays and tessellated morays. So yeah, here we have a cuttlefish. Um, Cuttlefish sadly tend not to live very long, so it's only like a year or so. Most of them are pretty small. They have chromatophores, which are the cells that allow them to like change their color.
Yeah,
Whenever they eat, it's really cool because they have these like little tentacles that they like shoot out and grab stuff. It's very fun to watch them eat.
yeah, you're gonna see that
Uh,
in a second. There's, it's gonna show how there's actually two of them. They're very good at camouflaging,
mhm.
if that's a term.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, it's also really fun to watch them like move across the bottom because sometimes they'll kind of walk. They'll curl
because
their little tentacles and walk.
there's two of them on screen right now. I don't know. Can you see the second one?
Is let's see.
He's right in the center of the screen now.
Yeah, I do see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could. Like he blends in almost perfectly, and he's
Hmm.
so still. Like it's crazy the camouflage. Like I could screenshot this and just be like you know can you find the fish in this picture, and like
Hmm.
he's right here in case like anybody like that's his eyeball. But man,
Yeah.
they were beautiful.
Yeah, they're
And
cute little guys. We've had them before, but like I said, they really don't live too long. You have to have like a big colony of them if you want them to do well.
and
So,
I love this part because yeah, you got two of them here, and then this is where he starts to glow, I think, and change color, and it was so pretty. Like yeah, like right there. It's like they turn like purple and green.
mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
they're
about it.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's all my clips. So I'll start it over while we talk, but just I thank you so much for coming on and uh
Yeah, of course.
just like so you've been to the Georgia Aquarium before?
Yes, it's been a number of years. I love the oh, I can't remember what it's called. The one exhibit that's like a fourth of the whole aquarium, the one that has the whale sharks. That's one of the most stupendous tanks I've ever seen. It's unfathomably large, and they're unfathomably large when they. Um, when they swim over you, you can approach basically, and then a shadow is cast, and you're just like,
So what kind of sharks are these? Are
uh,
these tiger sharks? The not the hammerheads, but the other ones?
yeah. Let me see. I saw one that looked like a tiger
Because
shark.
because I thought that this exhibit had the whale sharks in it, but I wasn't sure. Like, cause you say that they're huge, right?
Whale sharks are enormous. Yeah, they have the. You said this is the Atlanta Aquarium, right?
Yeah, at the Georgia Aquarium, and it was called Predators of the Deep was the exhibit that had,
Okay.
or maybe it was Creatures
Those
of the Deep.
I'm trying to. Oh, that might is that an oceanic? Oceanic. Is that what that is?
I'll try.
That
I'll
may
try
be
to.
those big sharks that have the white on their fins. Those might be oceanic white tips. I was trying to confirm. I was looking online trying to see if that. I did see what I believe was a in the background was a tiger shark. I think those guys might be oceanic white tips. Not sure. This guy right here. I think that's what he is. Um,
Um, is the white tip? Is it from his fin up here, or why do they call it a white tip?
yeah. So his fin, his dorsal fin, and also his caudal fin, the tail, they both have white tips. So
Yep.
there's the oceanic white tip, and then there's also the white tip reef shark, which is who likes to sit on the bottom. He just kind of sits and has his nose pointed up, and he likes to. We have one at the aquarium. He likes to watch the people. It's very cute. Um, and so
It,
yeah,
it must be
yeah,
fun working at an aquarium. Like, I could
I love it. Yeah,
definitely, yeah. Because I really enjoyed now I'm just wishing I would have gotten more footage, but I definitely got some good videos, I think, especially of these
yeah.
guys. There was like just so weird but like so cool, and the cuttlefish were so like cute, and I love their little like the fins they have that are like
Mhm.
it's almost like a skirt around them that's like it's crazy because like they move so much but they can also be so still at the same time, and the way they camouflage, like it took like we stood there for like 10 minutes before we could actually find one. Like they were so
Mhm.
well camouflaged, it was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're very good at hiding in the wild, among like kelp and corals and stuff. I mean, that's how they eat their ambush predators. So they'll wait for something to come by and then
I like how this guy's
grab
just
it.
like, what's up? And he's like got these like uh folds that's like he's like I don't know, like it's just so weird, like his shape, like uh
He's like a sock. It's
it's
like
like
a
he's got,
long
yeah,
sock.
he's like got rolls.
Yeah, the
And
chunky
like
boy.
blue eyes and like blue nostrils.
Hmm.
And do they have
Yeah, they're
really sharp
beautiful.
teeth?
Yes, yeah, they have sharp teeth. They're predatory. You would not want to I would not want to mess with those guys in the wild. Like I said, they can be a bit more bitey than other species of eels.
So is that how they breathe, sucking in the water like that?
Yes,
Because
yeah. So
they
they're
they
buccal
don't have
pumping.
gills. They don't have gills.
They have gills. So
Oh,
that hole that you saw on the side, that's a gill. Um, so if you look right, you might be able to see it's kind of like opening and closing. Do you see that little hole? Um,
right here,
I can't
or
see your
is it?
mouse, but presumably,
Oh, right,
there
right
is
under its eyeball.
no, not right under its eyeball, like down a bit farther behind the mouth or lower than the mouth. It's kind of hard to see on this individual, but they do have gills, so they do have a gill hole on each side. So they're taking that water in and then they're expelling it out through the gills. Um, I mean, pretty much all fish do that. They have the opercular bone, and then most fish have like multiple. Oh, you can see on this guy right there. You see the big hole?
On the sides here.
Yeah, on the side. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's where their gills are. So when they're sucking in water and then they're going to pass out through the gills, um, because that's their respiratory system. So the respiratory system for fish is that they have. Is that their gills? That may not even be the gill. Am I able to screen share?
Sure.
Let's see. Green moray gill. Okay, here's a better picture. Here's a clear picture, I should say. Here's a clear picture right here. Um. Uh.
I gotta add your screen share
Okay, gotcha.
because I don't think you're sharing yet.
Yeah, not yet. I was trying to figure out what best. Oh, I guess that would be it right there. Okay, so let me share that. Do you see that right there? This like slit here on the side.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that
Yeah,
might be it on yours. Yeah.
yeah. It was just it because if you look at that image on the bottom. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think
I'm sorry. My bad.
yeah. I'll add it again. I think that was it though.
Okay,
I
you're
was
probably right. Yeah.
I was
So
saying
that was the gills. Yeah.
the yeah, and the top row in the middle, if you can click on that
Mm-hmm.
one. Yeah, I think. Oh, or is it those three? It's not those three holes. The
No, it's
three
not
little
those.
holes.
It's this one right here, right there. That's the
Yeah,
gill.
yeah. So I think that we were looking at it. That's crazy because I would never think that those were gills. You know what I mean? Because I'm used to gills being like the gill slits.
Hmm.
You know.
And for a lot of fish, it is. They do have just the gill slits, which uh, like shark gill. So yeah, so sharks have multiple
Yeah.
gills. Yes, they have these slits here, whereas for eel, it's just kind of a hole. So yeah, so just based on their different lineages, they've had all sorts of different evolutionary paths they've gone down. Eels are also cool because as being part of the more primitive bony fish, their swim bladder is still connected to their esophagus. It's not like the more advanced bony fish where where the swim bladder is detached from the esophagus. So that's oh, ooh, I can't remember what the exact term for that is. It's
I'm
uh,
surprised.
gill connected to esophagus. I'm drawing a blank. Or sorry, not gill. I'm an idiot. Swim bladder. Swim bladder. I keep saying gills. Swim is called physostomus. There we go. So it's physostomus because oh my gosh, I keep having problems with my camera. Um,
It's okay. I'm gonna pause.
physo.
I'm
There
gonna
we go.
pause the recording real quick. Okay, so I have just some pictures I took, so we're gonna look at those, and then we're just gonna wrap up this video. Thank you so much for coming on, Jackson. Your commentary is great as always, so thank you.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I don't know if you know like what kind of jellyfish this is off the top of your head, but
What
it's
species? No, some sort of of medusoid or medusazoan. I don't know. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous specimen.
yeah, like I thought I got a video of them, but they're like in motion, they're even prettier. Um,
Yeah, I'm not particularly well up on my Nidarian divisions.
Gosh, I can't believe you can't just identify everything by sight, Jackson.
I know. I'm
um,
ashamed.
okay, I think that this is an Australian white spotted jellyfish.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
that's
it's
what
from
you.
Australia, that means it must be super deadly.
Well, it does have tentacles. Is that what they're called?
Pretty much all jellyfish have tentacles. Jellyfish, corals, and anemones are identified. They're collectively called cnidarians, and cnidaria refers to their cnidocytes, which are the stinging cells. So jellyfish, corals, anemones, they're basically just a mouth, and they have different means of distributing those cnidocytes around their mouth to capture food and then pass it along to that mouth. And then, of course, anything that doesn't get digested goes right back out the same way.
I love how you can just see right through them, and the color. So this is a, a, a picture, and you can see like how long they are. Like
Mm.
this is all them going down right here, and just they're huge. Like I think I got a really good photo,
It is a good photo. Yeah, absolutely.
and the just like the texture on them, like it's almost like they're ugly and beautiful at the same time. Um, I don't know.
Hmm.
I think can you are those its veins?
Mm, I think that's their outside. There's like the folds of their skin.
Okay, because
I
it
think.
almost looks like you can see veins, but it's probably just texture. They had really weird texture, like
Yeah, I think that's like the folds of them. Yeah, they're gorgeous jellyfish. They're very
yeah.
pretty.
They were.
Hey,
I could just watch them all day. Makes me wish I had just a tank at home with jellyfish.
that's
They're
fair.
very mesmerizing. And then I like this picture a lot. He's just like, "What's up?"
I believe it's the Georgia Aquarium has a tank of upside down jellyfish, which is a genus called Cassiopeia, and they're sort of jellyfish pretending to be anemones in a sort of sense because they swim towards the seafloor and they just kind of keep pulsing, keeping themselves down on the seafloor with their tentacles up.
Yeah. Look at those teeth.
Those are some sharp teeth. The eels are no joke when it comes to their teeth and of course muscle. They
Yeah.
eels
I
also
bet
have
they're.
two jaws, believe it or not.
Wow.
They
I
have a
bet they're.
jaw.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. They have their the front jaw, and then they have what's called the pharyngeal jaw in their throat. So two means of grabbing food. And I've heard, not positive, I've heard that the like inspiration for like the second pair of jaws in Alien came from like the double jaws of eels. I have no idea if that's true. They can't extend it outwards like the alien can, but still.
It almost looks like they have like what is this structure next to its eye? It almost looks like they have two, like a set of smaller eyes. Like, do you know what that
That could be
is?
the ends of the nostrils. That could be the other ends of the nostril.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
so for fish, so for us, our nostrils are internal, basically like, or well, sorry, the end of our nostrils are. So stuff goes in and then it goes to the back of our throat. For fish, their nostrils aren't really like that. The smell basically, or the nostrils kind of go in and then like a little bit in the face, and then the exit of that deposits a bit more at the back of the face. Um, there are So for most fish, essentially the nostrils go in, they go kind of along the skin essentially, and then out exit later in the face. Well, what's cool is they're actually fossils where the end actually moves downward into the mouth, and there are potential reasons for that. So essentially, you have like the back, and then it moves downwards more towards the mouth, and then it ends up so the jaw or sorry the nostrils end up kind of on the inside of the lip essentially the underside, and then it moves inward, and the reason for that it's hypothesized is moving around on land, and so you can get better ventilation if you are pulling uh, more air in both into your nostrils, which is then going directly into your throat, as well as breathing through your mouth. So that's more efficient ventilation. So hold on, let me see if I can find you a picture of Cynectes and the evolution. Oh, here it is. I hate that. Okay, here's a good picture. Okay. Let me screen share. Can I make that picture bigger? Maybe. Or maybe just open image in new tab, perhaps?
Yeah, you can do that and then zoom in on it.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, because the picture from nature was kind of small. Um, there it is. Okay. Do you see the picture?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the your figure here on the left. You have the nares, the front of the nostril and the back of the nostril. And see that's on the outside of the head. This individual is Cynectes or Tungstenia, one of those. Um, Hard to tell since it won't give me access. I'd have to hack the paper. Um,
Mhm.
so with this individual, with this fish right here, you have the frontal nostril on also kind of at the front of the nose, and then or at the front of the face, and then the other nostril is here on the lip. You see on the bottom, you see like it's right there on the lip. And then for the more derived fish, whatever species that is, you have one nostril here on the outside, and the other nostril is actually moved inside the lip. So you can see the transition from both are on the outside to one is like halfway inside. It's on the side of the jaw to the enter the jaw. How cool is that? We have
That's
that in fossils.
that's awesome. I'm so happy that God designed it that way, you know?
Right? Exactly. We have one fish that's, the old position, one fish that's halfway in the middle, and you design one that's all the way, in the transition.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. We
It's
love that
weird.
God does that.
Yeah, I love that. It's weird though how he would trick us and make it seem like evolution happened though. I don't know why he did that. I guess he was just playing a prank.
Yeah, it's just a prank, bro. Don't take it so seriously.
It's a
Yeah.
social experiment. All right.
Right,
Uh,
exactly.
well, Jackson, like, thank you so much for coming on. Like, I probably should have live streamed this, but it's fine.
It's okay.
Thank you so much for just adding your expertise and your commentary. Like, I really enjoy every time we collab. So just thank you again for taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I love talking about fish. I know some people like they hate talking about work outside of work, but I love talking about work outside of work. So yeah.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, just like the video and subscribe if you haven't. Check out my new live stream I just did with Aiden, where I almost died laughing, literally. And yeah, we'll just see you guys in the next one. So thank you, and thank you again to Jackson for coming on. All right, see you guys.